Hey everybody, how you all doing today? My just fixed up my webcam and it's all overexposed again. But anyway, go. I sorry I'm a bit late. Had some offline work to finish up before stream started. It was a little unexpected, but that's alright. Okay. Alright, so today we're gonna start on a new project. Currently, well, I guess let's just open it up. My current terrain system, I think, works pretty good, and it would be perfect if I had complete control over everything. Well, there's even a couple problems with that. Like, it's hard to figure out how I'm gonna have stacked terrain and all that, and like, okay, well maybe it's not perfect. Like, the interfaces between terrain I think might be difficult to get to look right. I guess I should have opened this up before the stream, but the gist of what I'm trying to say is I'm actually going to try a new approach to terrain, and it's actually going to be kind of old school, like how we did terrain when the game first started. It just does testing where every terrain is its own block. Do that? That's fine though. And the reason is because did it actually just close? Oh no, that was weird. The tab went over to another monitor. But the issue is, like with mods, I want to give mods a lot of control over the terrain, but if I'm actually building the mesh myself in engine, it starts to get difficult to figure out how mods will be able to interact. So with this new block type thing, basically, well, the simplest way to do it, which is what we'll be testing now, will be every mod just gives I guess, yeah, I already tested this, just a hexagon or some kind of model. Like for dirt, it could have bumps, or I don't know, even a water or something. And it can already be pre-textured. And then the game will kind of just stack them together and hide ones that are invisible. And I want to do something kind of interesting where as you go higher up, the game will scale these edges inward. So it'll kind of, like, everything would just won't be straight up and down. Because I don't really want it to look too much like Minecraft. Because, well, I'm not hating on Minecraft or anything, but I don't think many people could argue that the graphics are its strong point. So I want it to be a little bit more organic than that. But anyway, I guess I can get rid of this. So yeah, this the current, like I said, the current terrain engine, I mean, it kind of gets the job done, and I do like how it's looking. And I think if I had complete control over all the tiles and didn't allow, or didn't have to worry about letting mods be able to add their own, I could get it to work how I want. I mean, the good thing also about this is that the terrain is all one mesh, so that's a lot easier to render, but the game also, I mean, the boards aren't going to be huge, so it's not a huge deal, but yeah, I just think it's just not going to work. This is a little shame because I have spent a whole lot of time on it, but I did learn a lot too, so it's not a complete waste. But yeah, so I already created a new branch in Git. Yeah, I'm on the blocky terrain, but I'm actually even going to go a little further and just make a separate project to test this. So I think to open this up, I always forget. A lot of times I end up accidentally making making too many folders. Okay, so this will just be test blocky terrain. I want 2018. And I think this should create a new folder with this. Do you want any asset packages? Maybe the post-processing. I think that's all I'll have to do here. Okay. Okay, yeah, it did create a new folder. I also want to copy over this git ignore so that when I commit this, it won't get unnecessary files. This is going to take a little bit to create, but that's okay. Yeah, adds in these like ads packages. I don't think you can cancel that. I usually go and delete them myself. Alright, should be done soon, but let's see. Why don't I go ahead and create a new to-do page here. So I guess this will just be, I'll just call it blocky terrain. And we'll just write in here as we need. Okay, I don't know why that would happen because I'm using the newest version. Okay, so do I want to, like, I don't even know if I'll need to copy over my framework, but okay, this is interesting. Thought I was going to use the new package and not this asset folder. Okay, I guess it doesn't work how well, that's okay, I can fix that. Like in the new Unity version, you don't have to have or clutter up your assets with these Unity packages. But I guess maybe the launcher hasn't been updated to use them yet, I don't know. We have the package manager. Oh, post-processing right there. And so now this will just be installed in the background, and so it won't be in your project folder. I like that a lot better, actually. Does take a little bit to install. Okay, so I guess I'll move over that test hexagon since I already made it. Well, why not? Why not just make another one on stream to show that out? It's actually pretty simple. I wasn't sure how easy it would be to make a perfect hexagon like that. Okay, so first of all, I need to set up Blender so it doesn't create these things on startup, because I always just delete the light and camera. Okay, so first of all, we're in object mode, so you want to press Shift A to create something, and we'll want to create a cylinder. And so then we'll just go and switch this to 6. Oops. 6 vertices. Radius is fine. I want it to be 1 unit high. And the cap fill, you can just pick whatever. I want a triangle fan. I guess UVs are fine, even though it doesn't actually matter. Okay, and then I want... Okay, well you should leave this at 0, otherwise Unity will not really know how to interpret. Okay, and so we'll switch to edit mode. Oop, I always forget. Yeah, it's this tab, not shift tab. And so I have all vertices selected, so I'll just switch to front view and move these up. And then switch to top down, and I'll want to rotate until it's like that. Oh wait, no. Actually, the game has flat on top, doesn't it? Oh no, it's east and west. Okay, are flat, so yeah, this is right. Okay, so let's save as... wrong folder. Let's create a models and... Okay, so this will just be simple hex. And there we go. Okay, so now that's done here in Unity, so I should be able to just place that in the game. And yeah, there it is. Let's change to isometric. There we go. Okay, yeah, so I think this is all good. Yeah, I want the anchor to be on the bottom and then also in the middle. Okay, so let me see. I guess I'll start off by creating a prefab for this because what we can see here, this already has a rotation. That's because the axes are slightly different in Blender than in Unity. So whenever you are working with a Blender object, or Blender mesh I should say, you want to parent it to some other game object so that everything just starts off 0, 0, 0. Let's call this simple X. And I guess I'll create prefabs folder. Alright, so let me see how should I... I'm trying to think how I want to lay out the scripts for this. Do I want to have something that generates a map for me, or do I want to be able to place it in editor and then probably it'd be better if if a script did it, just because it's hard to place hexagons perfectly close to each other because you have to worry about the square root of 3 and everything. Alright, so let's create a scripts folder. Oh yeah, and I like to always have the scenes folder have an underscore at the beginning so that it shows up at the top. Okay, and I guess let's just call this yeah, so this is basically just going to be a prototype project, so I'm not going to worry about the I guess maintainability of these scripts. So I'll just call this map creator. Because I kind of just want to test out how this looks. And then if I like the way it looks, then I'll go and try and implement it in the real project. So now that I have a script, I can open up Visual Studio. All right, and So my map creator should show up right here. We actually do want, yeah, on start, it'll just create the map. So here I need, I guess, the hex prefab. And let's just do, I guess, I don't know, a 5x5. I think I'll copy over this and I'll copy over the script. What am I trying to say? The hexagon position script, so I don't have to rewrite that. Okay, and in order for that to show up, I'll need to let Unity see it. Okay, and some of this stuff doesn't exist anymore, so I guess, let me see. So it just needs the board metrics because it needs to know the radius and height. I think I might just build that into the scene or into the math for now. There, we can see the radius is 2 or is 1 and then the height is 1. So that's fine. Actually, I don't need this at all. Okay, I don't really think I'll need most of this stuff, but okay, so the length unit, yeah, it's just 1. I think that's right. That's supposed to be a radius. Okay. So let's just do a 5x5 board for now. Yeah, like I said, I don't really care about making this easy to maintain because it's only for testing. Okay, object. I'm just going to instantiate a new instance of the hex prefab. Okay, I'll just make this transform the parent. Position, hex. Okay, let's do it this way. Oh yeah, okay, so there's a namespace on here. That's why it wasn't showing up. And yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of the namespace because don't need it. Okay, everything, we'll just try it with 1 layer for now, so. Yeah, I divided by, oh no, it's mod 5. Okay, so position to Cartesian. Let's just see how this looks. So first of all, I can get rid of that. Center this. What did I just do? And now I just need to add the map creator script here and give it the simple hexagon prefab. And I think now when I press play, we should see a bunch of them created. Hopefully the spacing is okay. Yeah, and it's actually perfect. Okay, so yeah, this is fine. In the final game, well, I still don't really know how I'm going to do edge of the map. That's a good point, actually. But I'm thinking for the final game, instead of having like fully formed hexagons, I might let mods just have like tops and then sides. I don't know. I don't know what the best way to do. So, because if I did it where each face was separate, a separate model, then I wouldn't have to have like the faces that are not shown. But Unity might get rid of that already with culling. So I don't really know how much that would improve the. I can't talk. Improve render speed. Obviously, like when we start stacking these, we can hide ones that are completely surrounded. At the very least, we can do that. Okay, but this is really simple. What I really want to test is the scaling when we have separate layers. So let's go ahead and do a bit of that. Okay, so we want to have this. Then I guess I'll just make a pyramid. So we'll have. Okay, so 3 plus 1. And then this will be on this first layer, and then I'll have one more. Oh, you know what I should do? I should extract this. Okay, so let's see. Create. And instead of just giving an index, I should give the row and column. Okay, so mod 5. Okay, and create hex. Mod 3 plus 1, and then divided by 3 plus 1. And then this last one will just be in the very center, so it would be 2, 2. And then I want it to be one more layer up. Oh, right, I don't pass the layer. That's a problem. Okay. Oh yeah, and there's no camera controls, obviously. Yeah, everything's looking pretty good. Also, yeah, I noticed that these shadows look a lot better than they did on our terrain system. I have a feeling that my shadow rendering shader might be a little messed up. I'll have to play around with that. But anyway, so what I can do actually is, you can see I can delete a bunch of these hexagons. Hard to see. But yeah, if you delete those, then you actually can't tell that they're gone. Interestingly, some light does go through on the corner. I don't think you can really see it from the outside. But yeah, anyway, that's why I was talking about we can hide these terrain, or these blocks that are underneath. But yeah, it's not really that important for this prototype because, yeah, performance is not the goal for this. Okay, so what I want to happen And I can't really show it here without writing more script, but I kind of want... Okay, so here, since there's no hexagons touching it on these three corners, I kind of want these to move inward a bit so that there's a slight slope. And same, so this one, since it has no neighbors at all touching, all corners would move inward. I think that will make everything look a lot more professional, or not necessarily professional, but just not as blocky. Not to mention that the actual hexagons that modders provide can even like round these edges a bit and have texture and everything. Yeah, so another issue I thought of, well, okay, that's not here nor there, but okay, let me see. How should I go about this? I guess I could just, okay, be really messy. Well, okay, let's actually separate the scalar into another class. Well, what? No, because what we need to do is we're going to need to have information about the whole map when we do this. Okay, so let me see. Public. Okay, let's just do this really simple, and I'll make a 3D array here. I usually don't like to work with multi-dimensional arrays because Unity doesn't show them in the inspector very well, or doesn't show them at all. But I think, well, do I really want to do that, or do I want to just do a 1D array and then convert these rows and columns into indexes like before? I don't really know what would be simpler. Well, let's just do an index, because that way I can actually see it in the inspector. And I think I'll go ahead and make it integers, because at some point we'll probably want to test with different terrain types. So I guess let's call this map. Okay, so we'll just set this to 1 if there's anything in it. So column plus row. So we need to know the size here. Okay. I guess we should put this. So number of columns and number of rows, and then I guess we'll need to know the number of layers too. So map. Okay. And then the index here is just the column plus the row times the number of columns, plus the layer times the number of columns times number of rows. I don't really need, obviously I don't need to have the parentheses there, but it just makes it a little more obvious to me. Just set that to 1. So before I go any further, let's make sure that that actually works. Okay, so it's 5 by 5 by 3. Okay, well, no error, that's a good thing, and 75 looks right. Okay, so after this runs, let's, I think I'll just make another script that will handle scaling a hexagon. I don't need a namespace for this. Okay, so first I'll take the game object for the hex. And I guess we'll also need its index, and then we'll need the map. Okay, so what I'm gonna do... okay, well actually let's just make this a mono behavior. Because I'm gonna want to pass it some information. Okay, so... probably... how do I want to do this? This should be the number, or the slope amount, I guess, per layer. So let's just call it slope inset. Okay, and then I guess we'll just have the map creator as an instance here. And okay, so I guess the map creator will just call this on it. Okay, so it'd be nice, maybe this should be... okay. Yeah, so this will just be a mono behavior, which will have information about a hexagon block. Which really it won't have anything in it right now, but I'm just thinking for the future. And I'll change this map to actually just be an array of these blocks. Yeah, and so this, yeah, again, it's not a very efficient way to do it because there's going to be a lot of null values in here. But yeah, like I said, I don't really care that much about efficiency for this project. Okay, so I think what I'll do is this bool has our needs run. Work sounds better. Just set this to true, and then on the first update, it will actually do this work. Okay, so that's not how you spell work. Okay, so for each... oh no, I can't do that because I need the array. Okay, and if creator map index does not equal null, then we need to scale this hexagon. We'll just... Okay, so this is the fun part. We're gonna have to get into a lot of math. But really, this is like with the hexagon, or with our old terrain generator, it was like all trigonometry all the time. But I think this is really all the math I'll have to do with this system, which is kind of nice. So let me see. Okay, so there's 2 points. I need to, let's actually bring out. So I'm going to loop through every vertex in this model, and basically I need to scale it inwards based on how close it is to a specific point. So first of all, I need to find out like what point a mesh is closest to, and then I'm also going to need its altitude. But the confusing thing is I can't use the vertex positions in the mesh directly because of that problem I talked about before, where the Blender vertice system is different than Unity's. So I'm actually going to need to use this object and this transform class, and then I can transform the position or the vertex positions from the mesh into a Unity space. And from there I'll be able to tell, well, it'll be easy to tell the height. I guess, yeah, to tell how far it is from one of these points might be a bit more difficult. I guess, yeah, that's where the trigonometry comes into. Okay, so first of all, I gotta get the mesh from here. This is gonna be kind of interesting, actually. Let me see the. I'll have this prototype mesh, and maybe the actual block prefab won't actually have any mesh assigned to it yet, because we're gonna need to create it ourselves. So let's rename this a bit. Oh, right, if you rename it there, it doesn't change the file. Okay, well, I guess, do I even need this? Because I can just use... Because here, it already has this rotation, so I think it would take care of it. So let me see. Yeah, let's get rid of that. I don't really need this. Oh yeah, I can't delete it from there. Okay, so I'll have a mesh filter and a mesh renderer, but I won't actually do anything on it. What? I do want to use this material. But yeah, we won't have a mesh assigned to it yet. And then I want to have that block. Okay, so now when I create the game, it will make a bunch of these simple hexes with the... Oh, well, not yet, because I didn't apply the prefab. It makes a bunch of these objects, but they don't have any mesh assigned to them yet. Okay, so... Okay, what is this? Game object. Okay, that's not what I want. I think this will work. Okay, so this will give me the mesh from that object, and so that's how I can loop through the vertices. And then I want the transform also. So proto transform, which is just that. Oh, that's actually a game object. There we go. Okay, so let me see. Four. Oh yeah, every time you call the vertex array, I think Unity like creates a new array. So you've got to like cache it beforehand. So vector 3 protoverts. Okay, and then I guess I want my own mesh object. And then my verts will be the same length. Because we pretty much just want to copy this model, but scale the vertices. So yeah, we're just going to be changing. Now that I think about it, could I do this in a shader? Okay, well we can try that later. Because shaders, like one of the things a shader can do is transform vertices. But the only problem is somehow I'd have to get data about the map to the shader. That's I'll have to think about that. That wouldn't really be that difficult. All I'd have to do is for each vertex send that data in the color or something. Okay. Well, we'll do that. Think about that later. Anyway, okay, now that I lost my train of thought. So my verts, okay, well, let's just copy them over. Protoverts, I guess I'll transform them. So proto, okay, this is a little confusing, but you call this transform point, and what it does is just applies the transformation matrix to this point. So in our case, it will just rotate it 90 degrees around the x-axis, or negative 90 degrees around the x-axis. And okay, so the last thing I need to do is just give my mesh vertices equals my verts. And I guess I'll copy over the normals as well. We do need to transform the normals, don't we? Okay, well let's do that later. I think the lighting will be messed up, but we'll see. Oh right, I haven't created the object yet. We don't actually use this, but let's go ahead and put a value. Okay, so nothing happens. Oh, I don't think I assigned the mesh to the renderer. Okay, so block dot get component mesh renderer shared. Oh right, I gotta use the mesh filter. It didn't do it. Okay, there is a mesh. It has 38 vertices. Oh, no triangles. That's a problem. Okay. My mesh. I don't have to transform the triangles because they just reference vertex indexes anyway. So, proto mesh triangles. Okay, it did mess up the lighting, but that's just because I don't move the normals over. But at least we've got some meshes back. Okay, now that I'm thinking that since I've got to use this transform, maybe I should... How would I do that, actually? Okay, so I'm thinking... Maybe I should just reuse the transform somehow. I don't know. Because I could get really complicated with these terrain things, and what if a terrain is made up of multiple models? I'm probably thinking too far ahead. So what if I just cloned this prototype? Kind of like we were doing before. And then maybe that would just make a... I don't know if that would make a copy of the mesh or not. Isn't there... I think there might even be a constructor. Oh no. Oh, we're still going to need to be able to transform because I'm going to have to transfer these into world space so I can know the distance. I just don't know. The best way to handle the normals and everything. Oh, this is fine. It's not that big of a deal. Oops. And so Unity already has a way to transform normals. So let's put a transform direction. Because again, a normal is just a direction, so it works a little different than a point. Okay, so now I've got lighting back. Okay, I think it probably would be better to actually duplicate the object and then just work on those meshes instead of trying to rebuild it like this. Okay, so let's keep that for now, but... Okay, so... copy. Okay, and okay, well, I'll test if it makes a copy of the mesh or if it uses the same instance. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm still gonna need to transform later, but let's just try this first. So find get component in children mesh filter. Oh, I forgot the T. Shared mesh. Vertices. Okay, I'm trying to think of just an easy way that I can just kind of test something. So I want a different value for every point or every object. And so if they all have the same height, then we know obviously that the meshes are shared. And I'll need to make a copy somehow. Oh, it doesn't seem to change anything though. Okay. I bet you that when you call this shared mesh, it creates a clone. So mesh vertices, and now I just need to set the mesh back to the filter. Really? Still nothing changed. Oh, okay, I know what. Yeah, you have to do this to actually get it to update. Kind of confusing. Still nothing? Okay, what am I doing wrong? Let's just set it instead of adding to it. You know, using the copy. Oh, okay, I think it's because this prefab has this mesh render. But I didn't need to delete these. Okay, this is because it's still not working. That's surprising to me. Oh, well, okay, I think I might know what's going on. Oh no, that didn't change anything either. I was gonna say maybe the first point is here, so when I set it to something was around 0, that I just couldn't tell that there was a change, but it's actually, I don't know why my meddling with the mesh is not doing anything. It has this here, and the mesh. Oop. Okay, that's kind of cool. I didn't really want to open it in Blender. Okay, well, let's see. I want to clone a mesh. Unity. Oh, okay, I just do instantiate on the mesh. I never even would have thought of that. I can type it. Yeah, I guess mesh is just a game object. Okay, my meddling is still not having an effect. Maybe I'm just testing it in a bad way. Okay, well, first off, let's just get rid of that. Just set this to some big number, and so it should change. I don't really know what's going on here. Yeah, nothing is changing. Yeah, so one of these points should be, unless point 0 is like not used. That doesn't make any sense though. Okay, let's say cylinder clone. Yeah, obviously it's not. My vertex changes aren't taking effect. Did I forget to call something? Upload mesh data, upload. Yeah, that should happen automatically. I don't want to call clear because the whole point is we want to reuse the data that's on it. Okay, well, let's do this. Okay. What is going on? I don't know why my changes aren't affecting it. Okay, so I have mesh filter And the mesh renderer should just read the mesh from the filter. Not like I have to set anything. And, you know, got a cylinder there. Okay, this is not what I thought I'd get stuck on. Okay, so I guess let me see. Am I missing something? So we get a mesh filter from component that we instantiate here, and I already deleted. There's no mesh filter there. It's not like I'm getting a mesh filter I don't want. This is the only one. And then I clone this, which I didn't even think I need, and then I try to set a vertex. And I even do this, which should refresh it, but it doesn't seem to work. And then I set the shared mesh back. So this seems like it should all work, but obviously it doesn't. Okay. Debug, log, mesh. See if at any point it does actually take effect. So they're all saying 0, 0, 0. Okay, so you must just not be able to write into the vertices like this. Okay, so I guess I'll just need to do another step. That's kind of strange though. Oh well. 3 verts equals mesh. Oh. Yeah, the way that Unity handles these vertex arrays is kind of strange. So I guess we just found another eccentricity of it. Okay, so now it's actually working. So you can't assign directly into the vertex array. Okay, so I guess the question is now, do I need to instantiate? And to test that, let's just set this. It'd be kind of hard to see. Let's go -1 to 1, and I'll do this, I guess, for all 3. And so, yeah, we'll be able to tell if they're different easier that way, I think. And they look pretty much all the same, so I do need to instantiate the mesh, which I guess makes sense. Okay, yeah, so now they're all different. Okay, so now we're done with that test. So let me see. That's interesting. So When I do scale things in, that will kind of mess up the normals now I think about it. So is this really a good idea? I think it's still worthwhile, but okay, this is... Yeah, because doing the points is relatively easy. Because I just move them in, but for a normal... I guess it's still kind of the same. I would just lerp the normals towards the center. Okay, I'll have to... Let's worry about that later. Okay, so what? I guess I'll need to get vertexes. Okay, and I'll still need the prototype transform, I think. No, I don't need private there. Okay, okay, so I don't do it like this. I just need to transform to get the world position. So, vector 3. Okay, and how do I want to deal with this right now? Okay, let's just scoot everything to the left, depending on what layer it's at, or how high it is, I guess. So world position dot x minus equals slope inset times, I guess, the world position y. And then I need to set the vertice, but I've got to convert it back into local space. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, this should work. Yeah, this should work. Yeah, if we have like multiple meshes, things would get a little confusing here, but what's it not like? Oh, right, I gotta give the index. Okay, so now I just need to set mesh vertices equals verts, and then filter shared mesh. Okay, so let's see how this works. Okay, yeah, so everything is sliding over. Interestingly, these points don't match up, which is kind of strange because we go based on the world position. So these vertices should slide over. And how come sometimes the wireframe drawing is a little messed up? Oh, so I forgot to delete that. They're all the same now. Oh, that's kind of funny. When I set the value in the mesh, I think it actually saved it. Here, yeah, see, it's saved it in the assets. That's strange that Unity would let that happen. That's okay, I'll just save this again. That didn't have anything to do with the mismatch there, though. Okay, so that tells me that this transform point is not giving exact world positions. How am I gonna... Okay. Would be the best way to test this. I guess, okay, so for now I just want to make sure everything lines up. So let's just make this simpler. Zero, 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 and 0, 0, 1. Yeah, so now it's really obvious that they don't match. Oh, well, I was gonna say it's because the transforms here stay the same, but as we keep going higher up, the world position should also increase, which would increase this. Oh, I know exactly what's happening now. Okay, so here we're just taking the position based on the prototype, and I'm not adding in the block's position in the world. So what I need to do is add on block transform dot position. Let's try that. Okay, and now what's happening is I need to subtract this down here when I transform back. Okay, there we go. Is there a better way to do this? Maybe I should use this transform to transform points. I think that would mess up this inverse transform, but let's actually test that. So, use this transform. Yeah, it doesn't work. It's actually straight now, okay. I wonder if it's this or this that's messing it up. Okay, so that didn't work at all. I think I just need to use the same for both. Well, this is fine. These blocks aren't going to be rotated, so... At least during this map generation phase. Oh, why did it stop working? Oh, I didn't. Yeah. Didn't go back far enough. There's like a slight hole in there. But that might just be the shaded wireframe mode. You can see a little bit of a shadow, but... And that's one problem with this block. With using blocks, is that on these edges it's going to be a little strange. But that might be okay because, I mean, the textures are going to also have a seam there because they're not going to... Because modelers are going to just make these on a block by block basis, so I think it'll be fine. So let's move this back to being a larger map. Okay, so here I think is the fun part. I probably won't be able to finish this. But so what I need to do is for every point I need to find like what wedge of the hexagon it's in. And then I need to transform it based on the transformation of that wedge. So let me see. Find out what wedge of the hexagon it's in. I can just use trigonometry to see this angle from the center, I think. Okay, no, the other hexagon diagram's not going to help. And I guess I could do... if I know that... Maybe the easiest way, actually, is to try and convert it to barycentric coordinates, which we've used before for triangles. And that way we can tell which triangle it's a part of. And then from there we can figure out how much triangle has deformed and then just keep the barycentric coordinates the same, but then use the new triangle points. I think that might be the best way to do it. I don't know if that actually made any sense, but let me so let's see, did I do that already in the old terrain generation? I think some class did that. Let's see, was it, I think blending. Barycentric and Cartesian, so this... Okay, this converts from Cartesian to barycentric, which is what I need actually. Converting from barycentric to Cartesian is really simple, so... Okay, so yeah, this is... Okay, the points... Let's see. I think I'm going to go back to just one hexagon because I'm going to print out some values here, and so I won't be completely spammed. I'll just have one on here. So private vector 3 to vary coordinates. What should I pass? I guess the let's see, the quadrant and then the point. Okay, so points A, B, and C are the points on the barycentric coordinate. Yeah, so this makes a little bit more sense. I'll draw a little diagram here. So barycentric coordinates is basically just a coordinate system where you use a triangle. Let's make this a different size. So this is, let's make labels. And then this one over here will be C. And so this, the point is 1, 0, 0 because it's all the way on the A, and then 0, 1, 0, and 0, 0, 1. And so in here it's basically just proportional to how close it is to every point on the triangle. So this one is like 1/2, 0, 1/2, for example. And this is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And you can kind of think about it if each of those coordinates is a weight that you put on each corner of the triangle. The point that it corresponds to is where a ball would like balance on the triangle, if that makes sense. So if it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, they're all the same weight, so it would balance in the middle. That's how I think about it anyway. But the cool thing about it is that if, for instance, you get coordinates that are less, that add up to less than 1 or greater than 1, then the point is outside the triangle. And so we can just disregard that. Yeah, this is what I want. So this point A is 0 still because it's going to be the center of the hexagon, and point B. Okay, I have this hex position. I can use get corner direction times the radius. And then for this C will be the next neighbor over. Oops. Which will be fan +1, and I've got to do modulo 6 because it will loop around. Okay, and I don't need this. Okay, we'll just return. And this is kind of confusing. It's actually doing like finding the matrix determinant. Yeah, so this is kind of magic. But it worked before, so if you're interested, yeah, look up that Wikipedia link. I think I might even bring it over. Okay, so let's see. So I guess I won't do this right now. I'm just going to test this to Berry coordinates and make sure it actually makes sense. So coordinate fan equals 0. And there's 6 fans in a hexagon face, obviously. So I just want to print this out. So the point and the fan, and then it's a barycentric coordinate. Oh. Wrong parentheses there. Let's just test that, and we should get 6 here, and hopefully, actually this, well, we'll see how it looks. I'm actually a little curious how the 000 point will look. Oh, not a number. That's not what I was expecting. Must be probably because these points are directly on here. So it's starting to divide by 0. Interesting. So what would happen if the bottom is 0? That would be either these are equal, these are equal. That shouldn't happen. Yeah, because points A, B, C are all separate. Oh, okay, but this actually returns a vector 3. Oh yeah, this is... So it's in X and Z, so Y is always 0. Let's make a helper function just to clean that up. Private vector 2. Yeah, I just want to translate this vector 3 into a vector 2 just by using its X and Z coordinates. That's because Y is altitude in Unity instead of depth like I'm using it here. Alright, so hopefully that will clear that up. Okay, so 0. Yeah, so no matter what fan, 000 should always be on point A, which that's what this means, because the point A is the center. And then this point, which I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. I guess we can look here. Okay, so it's outside fan 0 because see this is adds up to be 1. Okay, well it does add up to 1. So obviously if something is outside of a triangle, any of these have to be outside of 0 and 1. It's outside of fan 1, it's outside of 2, and... Okay, so we can tell from here it's on fan 4. Halfway between the points? That doesn't make much sense. Okay, let's see. Okay, so 0 is at the top and you count around. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it says it's right here. that doesn't happen. Okay, so what is the world position? It's -905. So I'm just going to make a game object to see where that is. Okay, so yeah, this it should be right here. Oh, also, it looks a little off. That's just because the precision on these values isn't that good. I should probably fix that, actually. Yeah, for some reason, the default precision rounds to just 1 decimal. So let's do something like that. And I think that's the right tag. Let's just, yeah, so this actually works, but what it should be is it should say for fan number 4, which is this one, it should be 0, 0, and then 1. And then for fan 5, it should be 0, 1, 0. But obviously, so something is wrong with the math. If I'm understanding how barycentric coordinates are supposed to work. Oh, maybe the point is wrong. Let's see. I'm using get corner. No, that is right. Okay. Thought I was maybe doing get neighbor. Oh, but also east is 0. What is 0 here? Let's see. So I think that north is supposed to be 0. So -90. Okay, let's do a little math here. Okay, so -90. Then I want to take. Okay, well, let's convert it to radians, but that's fine. So the cosine of that is 0, yeah. Okay, so then. Ooh, I did it wrong. Okay, so then when I subtract 1, that's 1. So, okay, so north is 0, 1, which is right, but... Okay, so how come points don't match up then? Okay, well, I'm actually out of time. So, I'll have to do a bit more looking into it tomorrow. Again, I know point 0 works because it's just 1 on everything. And then this next point, which is -0.866, 0, and then 0.5 is right there. So again, on fan 4, because it's this barycentric coordinates is saying that it's right here because it's halfway in between these 2 points. But in reality, it should just be 0, 0, 1. And then this next one should be 0, 1, 0, but for some reason it's saying 1/2, 1, and then -1/2. So yeah, something is wrong with this math. Or Something is wrong with these positions. We'll just need to look into it more. But anyway, thanks everybody for coming by. Yeah, so sorry to end on a cliffhanger, but yeah, I could spend all day working on this math, so we'll need to take tomorrow to figure that out. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at around noon Eastern. Feel free to follow me here on Twitch if you want to be notified when I go live. I also will post on my Twitter. I have a YouTube channel where I upload all past videos if you'd like to catch up on anything or see how the game used to look. And then I have a Discord server where you can chat with me throughout the day. We'd love to have you there. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'm gonna go get a bite to eat. And oh my gosh, I just noticed the webcam's really overexposed, so sorry if it hasn't been like that for too long. Yeah, we're getting a lot of rain here today, so it keeps getting lighter and darker. But anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.